from the NewsChannel 5 network, this is SportsLine.
All right, good evening, everybody. Welcome to SportsLine, the Wednesday extravaganza right here on NewsChannel 5 Plus. I am your host, John Burton. Be with you for the entire hour as we talk sports, but I'm not alone. I have a special guest, someone we've been trying to get on the show for quite some time. She is the Tennessee Co-Sportscaster of the Year for 2018. You hear her every day on 104.5 The Zone. You see her every weekend during the college football season doing the sidelines for the SEC Network and ESPN. It is my pleasure to welcome the great, my friend, Dawn Davenport, ladies and gentlemen.
Hi, thank you. That's a heck of an introduction.
Hey, I'm a star maker. That's what I do. Welcome to the show. It's great to have you here.
Yes, it kind of starts our busy time here with football starting and everything that's going on, but perfect timing, and I'm happy to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Well, I got to tell this story, right? We've been trying to get Dawn on the show for quite a while, so I've been reaching out to her, social media messaging, direct messaging via text. So I sent her a text a couple of weeks ago. It was right around the middle of training camp.
Yeah.
And I said, hey, would love to have you on the show. This was a couple of weeks ago. I said, I'd love to have you on the show. Didn't hear back from her. And you know me, I'm Father Rock, okay? I worry about everybody. Is she okay? Something happened to her. So fast forward to a couple of days later, I see her at training camp. She's on the sidelines watching practice with Coach Mac, Dave McGinnis, who we love. He's been on the show before.
Yeah.
So at first I wasn't going to walk up to you and ask you what was up, because I maybe something was really going on. So I said, well, I got to at least find out what's up. So I walk up to her and I said, hey, Dawn. She's like, hey, JB. And I said,
can I give you a hug?
Yeah. Dapped me up, gave me a hug, and I said, did you get my text message the other day? And she said, yeah, I did. I said, so you ghosted me? And she said, yeah, I did. I said, you ghosted me?
Now, hold on.
Now, I know you got a lot going on.
I said, yes, I did. But I will say, at the point I got the text message, I had gotten a million. I have my same number from high school. So, like, everybody has my number, everybody.
Right.
So, at the point, I was like, oh, JB, I'll write him back in a little bit. And then never got back to you. And I felt terrible about it. And Coach Mac, just killed me for it.
Oh, he killed me for it. He's like, just right in front of me. He said, just tell him you don't want to do it. Tell him to leave you alone.
Yes, and
right in front of me.
No, I do want to do it. That just wasn't good time. So I was like, hey, what about 2 weeks from now? Let's plan it in advance.
Right.
I'm super organized and anal, so this was perfect. So I'm happy to be here. And I did not ghost you.
You did not ghost me. Thank you for being here. I gotta share another story too. I met you when I got here in 2012 from Pittsburgh, and cut to a year later, it was my birthday, and people were hitting me up on Twitter and stuff, and being really nice, wishing me happy birthday. You sent the nicest tweet about me.
Aw.
You did. You said something to the effect of, it's great to know that there are good people in this business. And I mean, I had known you.
I meant every word.
I hadn't known you that long, and I knew you, but I didn't know you that well. For you to reach out and tweet something like that about me, I never got a chance. This was 7 years ago. I never got a chance to say thank you for those kind words. That really meant a lot to me then, and it does now.
Well, like I said, I meant every word, and you know how this business is. There's competition, and who's going to break a story, and who's going to get their question answered, and all of that. But I felt from the minute that you walked into this market, you embrace the market, you work your butt off, you do a phenomenal job of it, and the most important thing is you're a nice person and a good person, and so it came from the heart. You know me, I don't. You don't mince words. I don't mince words. I'm usually pretty honest for the most part. Sometimes to a fault, but yes, News Channel 5 is very lucky. They've got a good one here.
Thank you very much. All right. Well, listen, you were doing what I was doing. Doing the TV sportscasting thing here locally. Then you switched to news. You were doing the morning show You were very popular there. The show was very popular. You had a great following. And then I'm scouring the internet one day, and I hear that you're going to be the co-host on 104.5 The Zone doing Afternoon Drive.
I clearly don't know what I want to do with my life, do I? I mean, I just like to bounce around and try different things. I get bored, so I figure what's next, right?
Yeah, I mean, and you can hear her every day on the Afternoon Drive show, 3HL, of course, Mickey Ryan and Brent Doherty, two good buddies of mine. Mickey's been on the show before as well. A couple of great guys to be working with.
Awesome coworkers.
What brought this on? What led you from TV sports to TV news to sports talk radio?
It was, I think, kind of a culmination of different things, but I started my TV career in sports, working in Wilmington, North Carolina, getting paid in sunshine, shooting my own stuff, producing my own stuff, writing stuff, working 7 days a week, and just for the love of the job. And I've always been a sports person.
Right. You were an athlete, right?
Yeah, I played volleyball at Auburn. My family, we grew up going to spring training baseball games in Arizona and Florida. Those were like our family vacations, so
Right.
I've always grown up in sports. As you know, working a morning schedule kind of limits the time that you can spend enjoying or consuming sports. So that's always been what I did. And I loved my time in morning news. Absolutely loved it. The viewers, the team I worked with, they were amazing.
You were a rock star, man.
That
I'm
schedule
telling you. Yeah.
will just
we talked about that.
Eat your soul.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You really have to live for the weekends, right?
You do, but see, that's the thing. I was fortunate enough to still be working for ESPN and covering football games on the weekends. So that would be a get up some days, leave Thursday to be able to get to practice to cover a football game.
Right.
But that would also be some days, during ratings books or whatever, it would be a get up, work the morning show early Friday morning, fly to where I was going to do a game, meet with coaches all day, do a late production meeting on a Friday night at like 7 or 8 o'clock after getting up at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
Turning around Saturday, if you work a night game, that's a complete opposite schedule from what you're doing on a morning schedule.
Right.
And then flying back on Sunday and 5 o'clock bedtime, starting it all over again. So fall was pretty brutal. So that kind of transition was my passion for sports. My two coworkers are phenomenal, and I talked a lot to them, prior to joining the show, and it was something that I thought was going to be challenging for me and different, and maybe could help me grow as a broadcaster, as a person, and on so many levels. And I really feel like it has. And my job, I work for ESPN as a sideline reporter. You do as much research, as much prep work, as much about those teams. You watch film, you do all that the play-by-play and the color person does in the booth. But you are allotted sometimes 15, 30 seconds to tell what you see, tell a story.
Right.
It's not an opinion-based job. You are there to be eyes and ears on the sideline.
Right.
With 104.5 and with 3HL, I get an opportunity to jump into the opinion side. I mean, we're on for 4 hours a day. I actually get to talk about sports a little bit more. And so for me, that was something that I felt could help me to grow.
Sure.
And so that's kind of why I made the move. And it's been so much fun and certainly different. And I still feel like I'm learning. I'm coming up. I just finished 2 years there.
Wow.
At 3HL.
Has it been
crazy?
2 years already?
2 years.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Well, and when I did the morning show, that was 5 years.
Right.
And I'm like, how have I been doing this 5 years? Time just flies. And another big part of it, just to hit this real quick, was I love this city.
Man.
I am so in love with Nashville.
Yeah.
And I did not want to leave. And I had some job interviews at that point that were outside of this city. And I just am so in love with this city and the people here that I didn't want to go.
Yeah, it grows on you.
Yeah.
And one of the things, Dawn, I know, because I've done sports talk radio before, and I do a little bit here and there. I kind of do some guest appearances.
Yeah, you do a great job.
Oh, thank you. It's hard, man.
Whew,
I mean, people think it's easy. You're just sitting around talking about sports. It is hard to talk for 4 hours, to be awake and alert for me for 4 hours. Okay.
And focus.
Because I used to do the morning show in Pittsburgh when we launched 93.7 The Fan. It was the first FM all sports talk station in Pittsburgh, if you can believe that. And I did the morning show with 2 other people, and by 9:30, I'm not a morning person.
Yeah,
okay?
that's a bad schedule
I'm
for
not
you.
You know the brand.
I know.
You know the Johnny Nashville brand. And so by 9:30, I'm bobbing and weaving, and it just, you're right, it really can affect your life in so many ways. It was a fun job. I enjoyed it. But I didn't exactly go kicking and screaming when they moved me to nighttime update anchor. Plus, I got to do what you did. I used to do the Pitt football games for radio when we got the Pitt contract.
Is awesome.
Yeah, I used to host a pregame show and do sidelines. That was a lot of fun. And but I think you do a phenomenal job. I was thrilled when I found out you were going to be doing it because. Listen, there are not a lot of women doing sports talk radio. No,
there aren't nationally, and obviously not in this market either.
Right. I mean, we just found out today at WFAN in New York. I don't know if you heard about this. You know, which is like the first ever really all sports radio show. They had a 3-person crew in the afternoons. And they actually let one of the guys go, and it's going to be Maggie Gray and former NFL linebacker. Can't think of his name right. Bart Scott. Oh. Yeah. So it was a 3-person. Now it's a 2-person. So Maggie Gray is basically going to be the host. Maggie Gray, who used to write for Sports Illustrated. So this is in New York City, Market 1. Whew. Yeah. So I mean, do you feel
they're harsh?
Oh,
New York fans are.
They are
legit
very. You know, I'm from New York. I'm not from New York City, but I am from New York, and I've grown up listening to WFAN. Those fans are tough. And listen, I mean, do you feel kind of like a pioneer in the business of sports talk radio? I know there are a lot of women that do it around the country. I know nationally with ESPN, but you know, I mean, it's not just. You know, you're not just doing an hour from 7 to 8 at night. Your afternoon drive, the second biggest day part in radio. I mean, that's a big deal, Dawn.
Okay. I don't like so uncomfortable right now. No,
Dawn, own your awesome. Own your awesome.
I will say this. I think I am so grateful for the females that came before me in all aspects of this industry that have paved the way for me to be even considered for that job.
Sure.
And so I look at it and I feel like I owe it to them to do my job and continue to pave the way for those behind me, for those that are in high school or growing up and say, I want to do that. I want to talk on the radio about sports as a female. You know, so I don't think I'm a pioneer. I think I'm just following in the footsteps of the, you know, Colbers and Doris Burks and all of these Michelle Tafoyas, all these great women that have helped to pave the way for people like me. I'm just hoping that I'm continuing the trend for the ones behind me that eventually are going to come and take my job and carry it on.
And that's what you have to do in this business. I found this, and I know you found this as well. You have to pay it forward, right?
Yes, yes. It's funny, we had at SEC Media Days this year, there was a large group of female reporters, radio hosts, you know, that were involved with schools, all of that. And so we actually, Rachel Barbeau kind of set it all up, and we had just basically a 2-hour meeting at night just chatting about females in the business, and there was so much talk about not paying it forward but pulling it forward. And Amanda Brooks works for ESPN as a PR person, and she kind of brought that up. She said that is kind of our goal here, not just pay it forward and help others that are continuing down this path, but pull it forward and pull them and prop them up and help others succeed.
And let it kind of give them that confidence that hey, you can do it. See,
somebody helped you at one point, right?
Oh man, a lot of people helped me. I mean, I could be here all night talking about the people who helped me. I've been very lucky.
In general, too, right?
It really is. And
we're getting all deep now here.
Yeah, we are. We are. It's gonna be a great hour, folks. But one of the things that I knew. The reason why I really felt you were going to be successful when I found out that you were going to be getting this gig is because you're not a wallflower, okay? She looks like the Georgia peach, everybody, from Atlanta, but you're not a wallflower. I mean, you are not afraid to let your opinions be known, whether it's about sports, whether it's about anything. And I think that's a great trait to have. I mean, what was it like when you first started out? Were you nervous? Were you thinking, all right, am I going to be able to pull this off? Like, what were your thoughts early on? I know, like I said, Brent and Mickey are two great guys to work with, and I know they welcomed you in with open arms, and they made things as comfortable for you as possible. But what were your initial thoughts when you first started going on air?
Yeah, and obviously my bosses, Allison and Brad, that hired me, like I felt completely comfortable from that standpoint with my host, and I still feel like I'm a little uncomfortable at times and at points, is that opinion part of it. Because if you think about it, you know, I've been doing this almost, God, I don't want to give my age, almost 20 years now. But I've been doing it so long, but I've been in jobs where I was not necessarily afforded the opportunity to give big opinions,
right,
and to actually talk about those opinions with others nowadays with social media and call in with others able to come at you about those opinions. So I was very nervous about it because, and working in news, you are an unbiased, here I'm delivering you information so that you can make your own opinion. I'm not giving you my opinion.
Although our president doesn't feel that way. But
well, that's a completely
I don't want to go down that road.
Yeah.
Please,
that's not going to be this show.
Please don't call up and I'm just making a little joke there, folks.
Yeah,
it's all good. Anyway, continue.
If you're doing news properly, if you are a true journalist, you are not there to give an opinion, right? And that is very different in sports, and especially sports talk radio. And I was very nervous walking into that because I had never been allowed almost to give my opinion, and I feel like I'm still easing into that and learning to give my opinion a little bit more on the show, you know. And I think it's an evolution, and it takes a while to get comfortable with. And if you know me, I'm a person, if you ask, I'll tell you exactly what I think. I'm pretty vocal. But I'm also a softie sometimes, to where I don't want to hurt people's feelings or be mean to people, that kind of thing. And so, you know, if there's a caller that disagrees with me, there's a point where I don't want to be mean to somebody, but I also want to say, in a way, hey, your opinion is actually terrible, you know. So it's kind of it's been a progression for me to be able to do that and to feel comfortable enough to give an opinion.
Folks, Don Davenport is here in studio. You can give us a call, 615-737-7767. That ought to be fun, right? When we come back, we're going to talk more about what Don does in a typical week, talk some SEC football, some Titans, Vols, Vandy. It's all on the table. Come on back. Don is here. We're back after this.